It is the last day of November when this video comes out. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at some of the sports uniforms and fanwear that was either released or announced this month, and maybe we'll give them a little rating as well. So thank you to the people who on the previous jerseys video recommended that I put up some pictures on the screen. I will definitely do that, and I will be looking down at some photos as well while we have a little chat today. So let me know in the comments what your favorite jersey from this video is, or uniform depending. And we are going to get started in the world of football with the new Naval Academy uniform. The Naval Academy football program, that's what it's called. They unveiled a new submarine-inspired uniform that will be worn for the Army-Navy game on December 9th. This is the 124th edition of the game. So these uniforms are in Under Armour's darkest shade of blue. Now, of course, elements like the numbers and the names, they're required to be contrasting for on-field legibility. So they've gone with a white font on this uniform that mimics the classification number on the hull of a submarine. Hull of a submarine. And so it's a really nice thought to use every element of the uniform to convey the theme that they're going for here. I mean, even the cleats are made to look like sort of waves or rushing water in that really dark navy from Under Armour. But then all of the other details, like the Naval Academy anchor, for example, or the silent service patch that appears on the back, they're all rendered in that dark navy blue. I forget what it's called. It's like Navy Eclipse or something like that. So it just makes everything look really sleek. Otherwise, you've got a USS Massachusetts patch on the chest. Now, the USS Massachusetts, my understanding is that it'll enter naval service in Boston in 2025. So that's also a really nice touch, because this year's Army-Navy game is taking place at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough in Massachusetts. So another really nice tie-in there. And then you've got the helmet. It's hand-painted. You've got a look of sort of like light shining through water over the helmet. On one side, it depicts a Virginia-class submarine, and then on the other side, you have the that anchor insignia in color-changing or hollow paint. And then on the front of the helmet, there's a sonar radar, and then you have the Navy word mark on the front bumper and silent service on the back bumper. Honestly, if I'm being nitpicky, I might have left out the submarine just from a design perspective, but then it does sort of bring home the whole theme as well. So I can't be mad at it. And I also have to mention that the promo video, or the announcement video for the uniform, was perfect. So I'm going to give this uniform an A-. And then I think the very next day after the Navy uniform was released, we got the Army uniform. And so it kind of had to follow this great Navy uniform, and this is what we got. So this uniform honors the 3rd Infantry Division of the Army. It uses tan all over to represent the desert camouflage uniform from the Army. And then you have the chevron, or I think they call it a downward facing arrow, which is the same thing. And that represents tank markings. There's also tank markings on the pants, sort of like on the front, which represents the thermal pattern that's used on 3rd Infantry vehicles. The pants also have ROTM on the side, and that stands for Rock of the Marne. It's the nickname that the 3rd Infantry was given in France during the First World War. So the font that they use throughout is meant to represent the stencil markings on Army vehicles that are called bumper numbers. Fun thing to say, bumper numbers. And all of the lettering and numbering has this like worn texture on it. To be honest, I'm not crazy about that decision. I would have preferred some type of texturing on the base color rather than on the black. The helmet sort of saves the uniform for me. The visor and the black stripe look really good. Again, I just wish it was solid black. And then they have Rocky the Bulldog on either side of the helmet, and Rocky is the mascot of the 3rd Infantry Division, and he was actually designed by Walt Disney in the 1960s. So until I see this uniform on the field at the beginning of December 9th, I'm gonna have to give it a C. I might change my mind when I see it in action. But now, before I make too many football fans angry at me, let's move on to hockey. And first we'll look at the Edmonton Oil Kings, their special uniform for the teddy bear toss this year. So for those who aren't familiar, a teddy bear toss game is a game that's usually held leading up to the Christmas season. They'll actually wear it on December 1st this year. And when the home team scores their first goal, hopefully they do score a goal. This is not a slight at the Oil Kings. I mean, just general with teddy bear toss games. Fans are encouraged to throw teddy bears or stuffed animals onto the ice, and then they're collected and donated through a local charity for kids in need or less fortunate kids. Usually the game-worn jerseys are also either auctioned off or raffled off, and the money is going to charity. So it makes sense for them to have, a unique jersey for these types of games. And so the jersey for the Oil Kings and the socks and even the pants are all covered in a sublimated print of stuffed animals. And look, these are a lot of fun. I mean, the idea is usually to go with something cheesy or tacky for teddy bear toss uniforms or specialty uniforms, and they did go all out here with this uniform. That being said, I did prefer I think it was the 2018 teddy bear toss uniform for the Oil Kings that made them look like a teddy bear that was almost wearing like, not a belly shirt, but like a teddy bear wearing a shirt, usually the belly sort of protrudes. And And then another year they had done something similar to honor healthcare workers. And another year they also went to look like teddy bears, but like wearing overalls. Super cute. So they did have a lot to compete with this year. So having seen what they're capable of, I'll give this uniform a B-. I think they could have gone cheesier, is my only note. Alright, moving on to the ECHL All-Star Classic. So this game, the All-Star Classic, has a home team squad that takes on an all-star squad made up of players from across the league that are voted on by, I think coaches and other players. You understand what an all-star team is. So the host team this year is the Savannah Ghost Pirates, and they unveiled the jerseys for their team and for the all-star team, and this game is happening on January 15th, again in Savannah. So the Ghost Pirates will wear the black uniforms, and the All-Stars will wear the white. And the third uniform that you're seeing is a warm-up uniform for the Ghost Pirates. So let's start with the Ghost Pirates game jersey. Features a logo that's usually a shoulder patch on their regular jerseys. It's an outline of Georgia with salve written across, and that neon green star is where Savannah is in Georgia. I like it. I'm not a huge fan of cartoony hockey sticks on uniforms. That's my only criticism. The hem has a green star shooting across the front, and that design sort of continues across the cuffs. I like it. I think it's a great collector piece for Ghost Pirates fan, and I think it's going to look good in the crowd during future Ghost Pirates games. So let's give this one a B+. Now, the ECHL All-Stars jersey kind of reverses the black and white from the Ghost Pirates jersey. So the logo is the logo that they've made up for the All-Star team. That's on the front of the All-Star game. That's on the front of the jersey. And I think there's a risk of the logo looking off-center on body, just because of the different angles of the star, and then on the logo, and then the shooting star, the swoosh on the hem. But it's a good basic jersey. In the live promo photos, they had them paired with white gloves, but I prefer the look from the digital renderings because it sort of continues from the black cuff. So we'll see what they actually equip on game day, but let's give this uniform a B. And then the bonus jersey is the special warm-up jersey for the Ghost Pirates. It's blacked out except for the pupils of the eye design, which makes an otherwise sort of cartoony logo look pretty menacing. So I like it. And then you have the stars and stripes across the hem of the jersey, the sleeves, and the socks. So I give this iteration of the jersey an A-. Now the problem is that in the promo pictures, the real pictures, the stripe behind the stars is gray, and the eyes logo is rendered in gray and white. So I'm assuming that this is the final product and not just a prototype that they've revised for the digital rendering. and I just don't like it as much as the digital, so this one gets a B- from me. Now, let's take a look at the Pensacola Ice Flyers of the SPHL. So this is an independent minor league, and I'm really impressed with the jersey that they've been able to put together. This is a special edition jersey inspired by the Blue Angels. The Blue Angels are a flight demonstration squadron of the United States Navy, and they've been based in Pensacola since 1946. So these jerseys are based on the Blue Angels flight suits. So they have 2 yellow vertical stripes down the left side, and the lines are broken up by a patch that contains the Ice Flyers word mark, and then the player's number and name in a script font. And that's also where the C or the A goes for the captain or the alternates. And that's in the same font, in that same script font. So really, really cool. And on the right side, there's the Blue Angels crest. And then on the back, the names and numbers are in that same yellow and in a font that reflects the numerals on the tail fins of the Blue Angel planes. The socks have Blue Angels crests and Ice Flyers logo on the shins as well, which is a unique touch. And they top it all off with yellow helmets and gloves. I love these uniforms. I'm giving these an A+. I might have to pick one up. I really might. And I should give a shout out to OT Sports, who are based in Burlington, North Carolina. So a local company for the league. And they produce these, and it's great work. I'm super impressed. Alright. The final 2 jerseys for the hockey portion of this video are the NHL Winter Classics uniforms. This game is being played on January 1st in Seattle. So let's start with the Vegas sweater. Everything is very muted, which Adidas says is on purpose. They said that, in 1917, which is the year that they're looking at and imagining, it's 100 years before the founding of the team, that jersey colors would be muted and that striping would be simple. Now, I don't mind the simple striping at all, especially for a classic jersey, a throwback jersey. I'm just extremely underwhelmed by nothing specific. It might be the gray. And then the detail on the V is a chain stitch, and it's derived from the braid on the dress gray uniforms that West Point cadets wear. And Bill Foley, the owner of the Golden Knights, actually went to West Point, so there's a little nod to him there. For me, the back of the Vegas jersey sort of saves it. I think the numbers in that style look better than the V does, but a disappointing jersey overall, and it gets a C from me. Now the Kraken, on the other hand, the inspiration for this sweater is the 1917 Seattle Metropolitans, who were the first American team to win a Stanley Cup. They were the ones to take it out of Canada's hands for it to return very rarely in the future. And it is a great adaptation of that jersey, using the Kraken's colors. And then on the back, the font for the names is the same as the Kraken that's spelled out in the S on the front logo, and the numbers are in this sort of old school font as well. So this is kind of like the Occam's razor of jerseys. It's the obvious thing to do, and sometimes the obvious choice is the right choice. So I'm giving this jersey an A. And we'll move on to soccer. So for soccer, we're not necessarily looking at jerseys, but fanwear. So I'm not necessarily going to rate these, but let's have a look. So first of all, Adidas has released reissues of the Germany Euro 96 kits, the Argentina 94 World Cup kit, their home jersey, and Spain's Euro 96 jersey. With the Euros coming up next year, a couple of those make sense. And then, of course, Argentina having won the World Cup. You can kind of see the thought process here. So let's look at the Germany Euro 96 reissue first. So these jerseys are the Die Mannschaft era, when they won their third European Championship in England that year in the summer of 1996. And they were actually worn by the team until the World Cup 1998 kits were released. And these are identical replicas of the original jerseys. The oversized fit reflects how they were made back then. It's an actual perfect replica. And I really like both of them, the home and away kits. I'm glad they didn't try to modernize them. I'd have been all over the green sort of teal one like 10 years ago. I'd still get it now just to collect. But I really do like the home jersey. I think it ages really well. Then we have the Argentina 1994 World Cup reissue. They actually wore this until 1997, including at Copa America in 95 and 97. This is the jersey that Maradona would have worn, and in fact the number 10 is printed on the shirt. This one is almost identical to the original jersey. The only changes are, for one, there's a jock tag on this one, and the other change they've made is that they've added an all-over AFA pattern, which I think in this case it does improve the jersey for modern wear, and I really like it. This is another one, along with the Pensacola jersey, that I do kind of really want and consider spending money on. And the last reissue that I'll show you is the Spain Euro 1996 jersey. So this was worn by Spain until the 1998 World Cup, and like the Germany shirts, it's another exact replica. I love that Adidas uses era-appropriate crests. Like, they're not using the modern crest, they're using the crests and the badges that were on these jerseys in the 90s. And the colors of this one are just so striking. I know a lot of people will be copying this one and wearing them with the Euros coming up next year. Then, not to be outdone by Adidas, Puma has released a line of fanwear for the African Cup of Nations. So they're calling it the Football Culture Fanwear Collection. And basically, it takes some details from each of Puma's African Federation away jerseys and reinterprets them, right? So you've got the lion jaws of Senegal, the elephant tusks of Côte d'Ivoire, the pyramids of Egypt, the textiles of Ghana, and the art of Morocco. So I'll throw up a couple of my favorites here on screen. Maybe some Senegal and Morocco pieces. I really do like the Morocco pieces. So each nation actually gets a t-shirt, a track jacket and track pants, a hoodie, a sleeveless tee, shorts, and a bucket hat. So each nation gets one of each of these products, which is really cool. Great idea to have fans wear something other than a jersey for the African Cup of Nations. Oh, and I lied. I do have a soccer jersey. So this is the last item for this video today, and it is the Athletic Club Bilbao 125th anniversary kit. So they call this the Heritage jersey. Now, what's interesting is that blue was first adopted by the team in the 60s when monochrome kits were easier to distinguish on television. And then since then, Athletic Club has worn blue for many big games, including the 77 UEFA Cup, which is now the Europa League, and the 2014 Champions League qualification games. And I really like the shade of blue that they've chosen here. I think the pattern is excellent. It's kind of a simpler version of the Newcastle away jersey, which is a nice shirt. We just don't talk about it because it's green. And it kind of reminds me of the patterns of old school soccer balls. I think that's what they were going for here. And then the fine red line on the collar and the sleeves is like the perfect subtle way of tying in the socks that they have paired with this kit, which is the striped white and red socks. And let me say that this kit has to be worn with the blue shorts and the red and white socks. I've seen them wear it with white shorts and black socks with a fine red line. I think they're black and not navy, but it just doesn't have the same effect. So I guess I will grade this one because it's a new jersey, it's a new uniform, and when the full kit is put together, blue shorts, striped socks, it'll be an A- from me. But that wraps up my relatively long ramble about some of the newest jerseys and fanwear that have come into the world this month. So don't forget to tell me in the comments what is your favorite piece from this video, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon with another video.